This is how I look when I attend a wedding, when I relax at home, when I go for a walk in the park, when I have a date with my husband, when I clean, and when I attend a work event. This is how I look in the summer, and this is me in the winter. I think you get the idea that I don't own a capsule wardrobe, nor do I want to have one. With minimalism becoming so popular, I think there's a notion that being a minimalist means you can only own a very bare wardrobe and a very limited selection of colors. That's not the way I define minimalism, and I definitely do not obsess about numbers. I simply see it as a way to find the perfect balance between self-deprivation and overconsumption. Even identical twins don't live identical lives, nor do they share exactly the same interests or preferences. So I think the first step in creating a functional and dynamic wardrobe is to recognize the fact that our wardrobes don't need to resemble anyone else's. It just has to work for you. I think social media is a great place for inspirations, but sometimes we forget to look beyond the surface and consider the not so obvious things like climate, personality, budget, lifestyles, and so on. I personally wear cashmere a lot. Therefore, having a small selection gives me more variety. It also means I can spread out the wear and tear. Plus, it allows me some flexibility for my laundry schedule. On the other hand, I do not own or wear any high heels. Therefore, owning even just one pair would really be one pair too many. I think this is quite a prime example of how a number is really just a number. Sometimes 9 is not enough, and other times even 1 is too much. It all depends on the context and the person. Some of you know I really enjoy my designer handbags. The BIRKIN especially is my all-time favorite. This is something I used to struggle with for a while. After all, not many minimalists out there or on social media talk about having designer pieces. However, my mindset has changed quite a lot since. I no longer think I need to feel invalid just because I own what I truly enjoy. For me, having a curated handbag collection makes dressing up so much more fun because they add a huge element of versatility to my simple outfits. Jewelry is something else that I find a lot of joy from. In fact, I might not use my designer handbags every day, but I always have some pieces of jewelry on me. For example, I wear my diamond necklace every single day. Same goes with my Cartier love ring. Even when I'm just home relaxing, jewelry are always my pick-me-ups. I especially love earrings because they are small, sparkly, and they are never in the way. I have a collection of idol diamond pieces, which I've been enjoying thoroughly. If you prefer something really simple and classic, you will love the idol diamond studs. I personally love having my earrings as the statement element, which is why their add-on pieces are right up my alley. To be honest, I actually can't decide which one is my favorite, but I have been wearing the Lucia, the Emma, and the Gia more. I also prefer the Luna whenever I feel like dressing up a bit more. Idol is the only jewelry brand I've worked with in the last 2 years. I love the brand, the designs, and their ethos. All Idol jewelry pieces feature lab-grown diamonds. This means they are a lot more sustainable, seeing there's no mining involved. I think they're worth looking into if you're trying to build a solid and timeless fine jewelry collection. Generally speaking, the idea of having a capsule wardrobe is to basically streamline your entire closet to only those pieces that you love and nothing more. I used to have a very drastic approach for downsizing, but in the last 2 years, I've come to the realization that Trying to create a perfectly curated wardrobe is a bit like attempting to hit a moving target. The reality is, things change in life, so do our preferences and lifestyles. There are several items in my wardrobe that I didn't use much at one point, but eventually they started to really grow on me. One of them is my Rolex Datejust 31. I never thought I was a watch person, but here I am, enjoying this watch more than ever. And let's not forget how obsessed I used to be with my Hermes leather bracelets, but now I don't wear them as much. Admittedly, I have more than I need, but I think that allows a degree of flexibility. Obviously, we are not talking about excessiveness, but sometimes having a bit more than just your bare essentials can actually be more sustainable in the long run. For example, I keep certain just-in-case items in my wardrobe. These are the things I don't use much, but they each serve a purpose. Whether if it's a dress for a special occasion, or a belt I only wear once in a while, or a pair of over-the-knee boots which only make an appearance whenever I feel dressy on a very cold day. For me at least, this is more sustainable than keeping my wardrobe really tiny, but then having to buy a new dress every time I'm invited to a party or a wedding. I do, however, try to keep this category to a minimal percentage in my wardrobe. So I think it's not hard to see how a capsule wardrobe is not always the answer. The way I see it, a capsule wardrobe is only capsule if the content doesn't change every few months. Put another way, you might have an impressively small wardrobe, but if you're constantly buying and replacing just to keep to a certain number, that's not actually sustainable fashion. Another reason I'm not interested in having a true capsule wardrobe is because I don't want to be constantly thinking about my clothes. The idea of having to always select the best 40 pieces to work interchangeably is not only limiting, it's also very draining. Now, I've been shopping quite mindfully anyway, but I don't want to feel like I was breaking the rule every time I want to add something to my closet, even when I'm doing it very intentionally. Now that my wardrobe is a lot more curated than it used to be, I also make sure to take luxury price increases into account whenever I adjust my wardrobe. Take my Hermes Kelly 28 for example. It's not my most used handbag because I generally prefer smaller bags. At one point, I was really close to selling it, but eventually I changed my mind for several reasons. First of all, I don't desperately need the cash or the space. Secondly, my preferences might change. Thirdly, an Hermes Kelly bag is quite hard to come by, especially without a purchase history. Fourthly, my handbag collection is fairly manageable in terms of maintenance and insurance coverage. And last but not least, the price is only going up. When I look at things this way, I don't declutter just for the sake of decluttering. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should buy yourself 10 Chanel classic flaps today because the price is only going up. This is more about how I manage what I already have mindfully. I should mention that if you own so much to the point you feel suffocated or overwhelmed, like I once did, then there's plenty of value in downsizing in a more drastic manner. But once you've done the heavy lifting, there's nothing wrong in embracing a bit of moderation going forward. On Pinterest and YouTube, there's often a lot of focus on looking good and building a versatile wardrobe, but not many people talk about what goes behind the scene. The truth is, everything we own needs maintaining, especially if you intend to use them for a long time. Comfortable as they are, cashmere eventually has peeling. Jewelry pieces need polishing. Leather jacket needs dry cleaning. Silk pieces need steaming. Luxury handbags might even need a professional spa at Paris one day. When you take aftercare into consideration, it will give you a more realistic perspective about the kind of wardrobe you actually want to have. Making the decision to not have a true capsule wardrobe is not an excuse for indulging in excessiveness. For me, it just means giving ourselves some flexibility and leaving some room for self-expression. There are certain things I do routinely to keep my wardrobe to a reasonable size. For example, I really value versatility. Therefore, a lot of things I own can be paired with most other things in my wardrobe. This way, I can create more varieties without having to own too much. I'm also more drawn to neutral colors because they suit my personality well. Comfort is another really important element I look for with everything I own because life is too short to wear uncomfortable shoes or clothes. I now also have a very clear idea about my own personal style. Therefore, I don't chase trends blindly. When I implement these routines in my daily life, maintaining a curated wardrobe is achievable and very effortless. So there's really no need for me to obsess about numbers. Let me know down below if you have a capsule wardrobe. And do you think a capsule wardrobe could potentially work for you? Thank you for being here. Take care and I will see you soon.